Namaste and thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be going through a quick tutorial of how to nail that jump back and jump through. So regardless of where you're at, even if you feel like the jump back or jump through is impossible in your yoga practice, this video will sort of give you the tools and the tips to go step by step to master this posture, you can say, or movement pattern. So the jump back and jump through is very often used in our Ashtanga practice. So let's get right to it. When you're sitting on the mat, your hands should be a little bit in front of your hips. So not too far in front, and neither should it be at the level of the hips. So just slightly in front of the hips. From here, you're going to cross the legs. So instead of trying to go like this, you cross the legs, inhale legs up, and then exhale as you try to bring the legs back and through. Wherever the legs get stuck, you can lift up, place the hands forward, and walk your legs back into a Chaturanga Dandasana. So that's your step number 1. So that's just the first step. If you can do that, if you can manage to do this step, then you can move on to step number 2. In step number 2, you're going to inhale, lifting the legs up. Where you get stuck with the legs, you once again lift the butt up. At this stage, walk the hands forward and then try to jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. I'll come to the jump through in a moment. I just want to go through the jump back first. So then the third step is inhale, legs up. Where the legs get stuck, from this point, pressing your hands, lifting your butt, trying to lift your butt as high as you can into the air, and then either walking in this way, walking the legs back, or from here, inhale, legs up, lifting and trying to squeeze to jump back. So this is really the key moment in our jump back, jump through, where we really need to work, put in that hard work. So without moving the hands forward, wherever our legs get stuck, to try and lift the butt as high as possible. So if you're somebody who's getting stuck at this particular stage, what you can do to practice is you can just have your legs straight in front, and you're trying to practice that constriction in your core. So what we want here is placing the hands near the hips and lifting, pulling the legs towards you and lifting the hips up into the air. Of course, this might differ for different people. Some of us have shorter arms, some of us have longer arms. So depending on also your body proportions, it makes a big difference. But what we really want to do is we want to try and bring as much distance between the ground and our butt. So we want to lift our butt as far up to the ceiling, above the ground as possible. So just by practicing this, inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Just by practicing this, it will become a lot easier to do the jump back. So of course, once you're ready and you're able to do it like this, lifting up and then making the jump, then you're ready for the next stage, which is the final position, where you just try to make it one seamless motion without touching your legs to the ground at all. Just by inhale up, inhaling to upward facing dog, and exhale going into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, to do the jump through, the first step is of course just to place the legs in this way. So we're just hopping the legs forward. Sometimes if you have pain in the knees or sensitive knees, instead of doing the hopping motion, you can also, from this downward facing dog position, bring one foot crossing, the other foot crossing, and then sitting back down. So instead of doing the jump, you can just do that. Again, if you're at the stage where you're able to jump, then what we want to next do is try, as we jump, we want to jump and try to bring the butt as high up into the air as possible. So you're trying to bring the butt as high up, and on the way down, as much as possible, you're trying to stop or control yourself so that you're trying to delay, even if it's just by a millisecond or half a second, you're trying to delay that your legs hitting on the ground. So it would maybe look something like this. You jump and you just delay it slightly, so that just that slight motion, that slight delay. So you're really pressing your hands into the ground, engaging your core, trying to delay as much as possible that jump through. So the next step, of course, would be to go all the way. So trying to jump through without touching the legs on the floor. So you would jump and go through. So of course, this might be very challenging in the beginning, and we are slowly trying to build up on it by stopping yourself from falling as you jump, just trying to control that movement. Another practice that can really help both with the jump back and the jump through is to use blocks, something to give you a height, so blocks or a push-up bar, and just inhale, lifting the legs up, holding the breath. So just going through and back forward. If you have a little bit of height with the hands, it's a lot easier to do that. I would not recommend actually using a block or a bar to do the entire movement. So what happens when I place my hand on a block and I try to do the entire movement of jumping back, it can put a lot of strain on my wrist. So I don't want to complete the movement, but what I can do with the block is just inhale, lift up, lift the butt, go back, forward, and release. So that's all for this practice. I hope you enjoyed. Do leave a comment if you feel that something worked for you or didn't work for you, and stay tuned for many more videos like this. Thank you.